Assalamu alaikum, welcome back. A very good day. Navigating primary school, the little ones, primary school children's screen addictions to social media, gaming and their phones, and helping us navigate this conversation once again with our children is Nikki Bush, renowned human potential and parenting expert. She is also an outstanding corporate resource for any organization if you need to know, as she has worked with many world-class companies and institutions over the years, incorporating her vast interpersonal skills. So check out her website. Now, Nikki, just before the break, I rudely interrupted you when you wanted to give us some guidance, some practical tips for parents. But with that also to add, what is your safety mantra you teach kids that makes a good bridge for parents to have a conversation with their children?
Sure. So I actually get kids doing a war cry, and they can raise the roof with us, because I say to them, you know, the older you get, the more often you are going to be out there without your parents who are able to protect you. So you got to protect yourself by making the best possible decisions that you can in any given situation, either in the physical real world or in the online world. Yeah. And I teach them one mind, one body, one reputation. Those are the three things that you are responsible for from today for the rest of your life. Nobody else can protect you when you're out on the information superhighway by yourself, or on a school tour, or a camp, or a holiday with a friend, or a sleepover. So one mind. You have to protect your brain, because everything it sees and hears, it will remember forever. You cannot erase what you see and hear. One body, you only have one body. Don't give away too many contact details online so that people can actually trace you back to your bedroom in your home. This also means switching off the geolocation settings on your camera on your phone. Otherwise, people can interrogate the pictures online and come right back to your school or your home. And then one reputation. You only have one reputation, and it can take literally 3 seconds to smash that reputation. Just at the press of a button of share and send and like, you can smash your digital reputation. So we need to remember one mind, one body, one reputation. And that means that when children are out there in the big wide world all by themselves, and they are wondering whether they should do something or not, all they need to ask themselves is, will it be good for my mind? Will it be good for my body? Will it be good for my reputation? If they get 3 yeses, they can do it. If they get any no's, the answer is stop, don't do it. Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Very interesting. I want to understand that you have certain resources available on your website as well, and you can have yourself and all of your ammunition come out to schools and organizations to equip them better on this sort of thing. Where can people also get hold of a copy of Nikki Bush's cell phone contract for tweens and teens, and how does it benefit parents?
Right, so nobody would let their child drive a car without having a driver's license. And in the same vein, your child should not have a cell phone unless they have a cell phone contract with you. So it is the contract for tweens and teens. It's our wishes for you. It's your responsibilities, as well as our responsibilities as your parents. And just remember, you bought the phone. It is not theirs. So they have it on loan from you. And if you're not prepared to have the conversations about oversharing and sharing naked selfies and revenge porn and reputation and all those things, sexual harassment, etc., your child should not have a cell phone. So this is a good conversation starter, and everybody needs to understand the ground rules of actually having a sophisticated device. It does not mean they're going to use it responsibly. They have to learn how to use it responsibly. So very important that you go through the contract. Then there's another tool for our parents, and it is this. It is the money or the box game. It is a family media management strategy, and I won't explain it because we're a little short of time. But if you've got children between the ages of 4 and 10, go and download the money or the box game, and this will help you help your children to make the best choices in how they use their time, either watching TV or gaming, because they have to pay you a ticket every time they choose to watch TV or choose to do gaming. So it means there's no free for all, play as much as you like. You determine by how many tickets you give your child each week, how many hours they will spend on TV or gaming. And then while you're on nikkibush.com, you can, of course, get hold of my books. There's Tech Savvy Parenting, and there is Future Proof Your Child. All essential reading for parents today, raising children in the 2020s and beyond, because you need to future-proof them and get them ready for this fast-changing world. You are, after all, the gatekeeper.
I'm glad that you've used those words, because that was sort of what I wanted to culminate to our final words of advice from you. Us as parents, we are in charge, and we need to know that we must take that authority in a kind, loving manner, that we can give our children the necessary attention and guidance when it does come to cell phone use and addiction within our homes of social media. So your final words of advice to parents.
So my final words are that you are firstly the role model. Children will do what you do, not what you say. If you are constantly hanging off the end of your phone, if you are not emotionally and physically present in your children's lives, they will default to one screen or another, guaranteed. And then to close off, I just want to remind our parents of the safety mantra. One mind, one body, one reputation. It applies as much to you as it does to your children, and it is a great way to have conversations with your children about what's going on with their friends online or some celebrity online, or should they be involved in something online, to just check in with them. Is it good for your mind? Is it good for your body? Is it good for your reputation? Because children need more conversations that matter and fewer speeches that don't. If you constantly nag your children, they will ignore you. But if you can get that safety mantra into play, then as they become teenagers and they go off to parties or they go off on school tours without you, when you hug and kiss them goodbye, you also raise one finger. And that one finger, my children would just look at that finger and go, yeah, Ma, one mind, one body, one reputation. And that meant that I had transferred responsibility for their minds, their body, and their reputation to them. And they had accepted the baton of responsibility. And that's all you can do. You can put the digital safety parental control apps on their devices. You can monitor what's coming into your home by using certain parental controls. But the parental control or device that is most important is your relationship with your children. You can use Griffin, you can use Bark, you can use Clicked, you can use Our Pact. But without your relationship, they are meaningless, and your children will just try and sidestep them, which many smart children can, of course, do.
And our children are smart indeed. One mind, one body, and reputation. Nikki Bush's mantra she leaves us with today. Thank you so much for tuning in today's show. Always appreciate Nikki Bush's insight and expertise and the deeper understanding of our children's complex relationship with technology. All the best to you, Nikki. Till we chat again. Goodbye.
Thank you, Hilaal.
And to our viewers, remember, knowledge is power. And by being aware of the potential pitfalls and taking proactive steps, we can help our children develop a positive and responsible digital footprint. But it starts with you, the adult around the children, the parents, the caregivers, educators, and all the adults, for that matter, around the children first. Now, if you're looking for more guidelines, be sure to check out Nikki's cell phone contract for tweens and teens, a valuable resource for families, as well as a book, some mini books, to help parents navigate the digital world. Thanks again to Nikki Bush for sharing her wisdom, and to our viewers for joining us as always. Join us next time on Life Matters as we talk to educational psychologist who is also a new Hajji. She's been on Hajj last year. She'll be helping our little ones cope while their parents embark on the most important journey of their life, Hajj. Until then, stay tuned, stay informed and empowered. Wassalamu alaikum and goodbye for now. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A very good day to you. Welcome. This is Life Matters. In today's parenting edition, we're diving into a crucial conversation about our children's relationship with technology. Who would have thought they would have had a relationship with technology? Joining me is renowned human potential and parenting expert Nikki Bush, who has spent many sessions listening to what primary school kids have to say about the addiction to social media, gaming, and their phones. From insightful confessions to surprising revelation, Nikki has heard it all. Today, she shares her expertise and practical advice on what parents need to know to empower, what they need to understand, how they can be empowered through our children, and also to navigate the digital world in a healthy and balanced way. So don't forget to interact with us as well. We've got our WhatsApp line open and our social media pages as well. So tell us your opinion around social media in your house or their cell phones. But let's welcome Nikki Bush. Welcome, Nikki. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you, Khoa, and to all of our viewers.
Always a pleasure and definitely enlightening having you on the show with us. The last time, I must say, there were lots of questions and comments around tech-savvy parenting, and that is a book that you can also get from Nikki Bush's website. Let's get straight into the big question at hand, because it's been boggling my mind after all the sessions that we booked with you. I can finally ask you, what are some of the most surprising or concerning things you've heard from primary school kids about their social media and gaming habits?
Well, I think probably the scariest one is that by the age of 13, almost every child has been asked to share a naked selfie. Now, a naked selfie is something that I coach children to never, ever share. It doesn't matter how many times a boy or girl asks you for a naked selfie, just don't. Because if you ever do share it, it's hot property and it is very shareable. And it goes viral very, very quickly. And it's something that can literally smash your digital online reputation in 3 seconds. From the minute you press send, that's it. You've lost control of the message and you've given permission to everybody else to share it. And it could haunt you for the rest of your life. So very sadly, from grade 2 onwards, I'm having to teach children this lesson. Then the second thing is that so many of these 12 and 13-year-old girls have got social media profiles on Instagram, on TikTok, on Snapchat, and they seem to revel in the attention that they are getting from the people who follow them. Now, these kids are telling me they've got 5,000 followers. Now, a 12-year-old girl shouldn't even be on social media at this point. There is a rule on social media that it's not for children under the age of 13. But of course, rules are there to be broken. So these children have got big followings. And they tell me that they find themselves being stalked by men in their 40s. And they even go to the point of shutting down their Instagram profiles and opening up a new one, thinking that they can get rid of those stalkers, and the same people pop up on these new profiles. And they find that it's very scary for them. However, when I say to them, so why don't you just quit social media for a while and see how that feels? And boy, the threat of quitting social media, they would rather deal with the fear that comes with being stalked by these older men than have no attention. So they're highlighting for us the key that social media companies use to keep our children and us online. And that is that the attention game is the biggest game in town. The biggest game in town. We all play the attention game. Whether you are 6 months old, 6 years old, 16 years old, or 60 years old, we are all playing the attention game. We want people to notice us. And once children hit puberty and go into their teens, they want to be noticed even more, which is why they play the game of likes and follows and friends online. They really aren't their friends, but they are addicted to the attention. And I'll give you one last story, which was very concerning. And this is about creating alter egos online. And this lovely 13-year-old girl, a really solid, lovely girl, says she studies the people who follow her. She works out what these people like, and then she consciously becomes what they are looking for. She says to me, she has so many different personalities online that she no longer knows who she is.
Sure.
And it's starting to trouble her. However, she loves the attention. So she doesn't really want to stop playing the game, although she did tell me that she thinks she needs help.
Wow. So for her just to admit that, and there are several psychopathies that comes from what you've just mentioned, the attention, what's happening at home, the parents, and the fact that she's admitted, I hope that, that does culminate to something. Now, you've also found out some interesting facts about these companies. Tell us what you have found out about these social media companies that are behind these apps like TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, and what gives them a hold over our children? What do they know about our children?
Yeah. So firstly, there's a lot of money in these companies. And these companies spend a lot of money doing research on how our children think. So they know that the attention game is the biggest game in town. They have worked out the whole child development timeline and what's important and where our children are vulnerable when. And they play to that. And so they have a lot of influence on our children because they know the little hot spots. They can hit the hot spots at just the right time. The other thing is that these companies are not there because they want to just create this fun platform where our kids can chat to their friends, or a fun place where our children can be entertained through online gaming, video gaming, etc. It may have started out that way. But ultimately, Goa, we know we are in business. We are business women. We are married to businessmen. We know that businesses only exist if they make money.
Yeah.
And this is what we all need to remember. While they give us an amazing opportunity like Facebook for us older people, because our kids are definitely not on Facebook. But I mean, you and I go to socialize on the weekend with friends. We quickly check on Facebook. What have our friends been up to? How many of their children have graduated? Where did they go on holiday? We gen ourselves up on what's been going on in their lives. So when we see them, we can say, wow, it looked like you had an amazing holiday and congratulations on your son's graduation. And,
catch up.
We do that. Even doctors, I have walked into a doctor's surgery on many occasions where I've sat down and they've already Googled me. And they know what I'm about and what I do. So it saves time. But, these companies, and I tell children this, in the digital safety workshops that I run, I actually say to them, what do you understand about business or businesses? What do businesses need to do to survive? They need to make money. And the whole group of 150 kids will go, money. And I go, yes, money. And you need to remember this, because the trick to these companies like TikTok and Snapchat and Facebook and Instagram staying in business is to make money, a lot of money. And for as long as they can keep you online, the longer they keep you online, the more likely you are to buy something. because this is true. If the parents viewing us right now want to go and verify this, go and watch The Social Dilemma, which is on Netflix, and it gives you the deep dive into the gears and the levers that these companies are actually pulling with our children. It's a little bit like they're the puppeteer, and they're pulling the strings and making our children feel things. And then when our children feel things, they give them another solution because an ad pops up. So they make our kids feel, for example, I say to 16-year-old girls, and I ask them these questions, and it's verified every time. 16-year-old girls are very concerned about what they look like.
The image.
So Instagram and Snapchat will be sending them adverts for diets, for corsets to make them thinner. They will be sending them advertisements for things they can buy to make them feel better about themselves. But in effect, all the messaging leading up to that is making them feel bad and not good enough. Because if you can make someone feel bad and not good enough for long enough, they'll look for a solution. And that solution online has a price. So we need to help our kids understand the game. We need to understand the game. How many times have we invested in an online course that we've never used? Whether it's a fitness course or whether it's some meditation app or whatever. We all buy stuff we never use. Okay, so then we look at gaming companies that produce all the video games that our kids play on, Nintendo Switch and PlayStation.
Too many to mention.
Too many to mention.
Yeah.
And the minute I put a picture up of all these most popular games right now, there's this huge intake of breath in the audience of children. They all go, and they all go, they all get so excited.
Yeah.
Because they are being so entertained online. And I must tell our parents who are watching, I'm not anti-technology.
Yeah.
I'm not anti-gaming. I'm not anti-social media.
I know your story with your boys as well. They're on the games. They grew up with it.
Yeah, my kids grew up through this as well. And, I'm not anti it. We have to find our middle ground.
Yeah.
It's really important that we find a middle ground. But when it comes to our children's development and their self-perception, and the way their values are created, what they think is okay and not okay in this world, we are not the only people who are raising our children today. They are also being raised by social media and by the games that they play. So if you take, for example, the first-person shooter games and the third-person shooter games, our kids are being groomed to kill. And while it sounds innocuous because it's on a screen, they're not really killing people. It's also wiring their limbic system to accept that killing is normal, to accept that being a criminal is normal, to accept that raping and pillaging is normal. And if you think about the armies of the world today who are doing long-distance drone strikes, so there's a soldier in America who's using a drone in Afghanistan, for example, and killing people. They never get to see the people they kill. They're not on the ground. They don't see the bloodshed. They don't see the family trauma. It's so abstract because it's just a picture on a screen. And yet all of this causes post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah, we're reaching
So
to
we
a
have
point.
to be careful about the content our children are playing with at what age.
We are reaching to a point where we're desensitizing our children, not understanding that exposing them, oh no, it's just the internet, oh, it's just YouTube. But a click of a button, we are opening up our privacy, their privacy, exposing them in so many ways. And as Nikki said earlier on, let's find the middle ground as parents. And that's something that we actually learn in our religion. Islam is the middle path. And with that, I'm going to leave that thought with you because we're going to hear about the conversation she's having with these children, what she actually tells them when she hears the shocking stats. But more after the short break. Do stay with us. Some more conversations with Nikki Bush, human and a parenting expert just after this. Stay with us. Welcome back. A very good day to you. This is Life Matters and our parenting edition. We're dealing with children that are addicted to their phones, social media, the screens, and in every way it's all around us and online. And is Nikki Bush, renowned human potential and parenting expert. And we understand that online and screens is an advantage and we have to use them in our way. So as I said, online is Nikki Bush. Not forgetting she's also an award-winning speaker and best-selling author of Tech Savvy Parenting, Future-Proof Your Child for the 2020s and beyond. Easy answers to those awkward questions. He's also got it in Afrikaans, as well as Future-Proof Yourself, an awesome read. And I always enjoy picking up her books anytime. So Nikki, online we have her. Welcome back. I want to now have a chat about the conversations you are having with these children. As you said, some staggering information. Tell us what you are saying to these primary school children in response to these comments that they're making about the companies in your digital safety workshops.
So one of the things they really need to understand is that nothing is for free. Although it looks like it's for free, how often are they lured into a space where they give away, like we do, our email addresses or our cell phone numbers? Yeah. Now that private information is actually traded. It is bought and sold by to marketing companies, to advertisers, and even to criminal syndicates. Yeah. So we wonder how our information gets on these lists, and it's often because we give it away. We give it away because, you know, we wanted to get the Torch app or we wanted to get something. So that's the one thing, is that nothing is for free. Everything is making somebody else money somewhere. Yeah. I also share with them the fact that, because you've got to make things really concrete for children, that if you Google Nikki Bush, you will find me for pages and pages and pages. Yeah. But I have intentionally put information out there because I am, number one, trying to help people. Number two, I run a business and I want to make, and they say, money. So, you know, understanding that when you're older and you're running a business or you're in business and you want to build your profile and you want more people to hear about the way you think, your opinions, whatever, that's a very different thing to be being taken on this little down the, you know, rabbit hole where you're being exploited. You're not in control. So we need to help our kids to take back control by making the best possible choices that they can make in any given situation. The second thing that they need to understand, beyond the fact that their personal information and their privacy is being traded and invaded, is that the internet remembers everything. And then their eyes go like this, because I say the internet remembers everything forever.
I love how you use, in your presentation, how you use a tattoo as an example. Once you stamp it, you put it there. Very hard to get rid of.
Very hard. And I show them a picture of a woman's face with a tattoo. And I say, you know, you can get rid of tattoos. I say, do you think it would hurt to get rid of this tattoo all over this woman's face? Yes. Do you think that it would leave a scar? Yes. So there will always be a mark forever. Even if it's not black, there will be a scar. Yeah. And so once you've got a tattoo, it's pretty hard to get rid of it. And every time you put information out, you like, you share, you create information, whatever it is that you're doing, whether you buy something, of course, or you view something. We all know how the Netflix algorithm works. Do you know that there are up to 18,000 algorithms at work on you when you are watching Netflix?
Sure.
18,000 algorithms. It's not just one. It's 18,000 that have been created by people with deep knowledge of human behavior. They are not just engineers and coders and developers. They've combined that with deep psychology, deep neuroscience of how human beings behave. So what our kids need to know is even what they delete is remembered because the internet is recorded multiple times every day in different places around the world, and it records everything in sequence.
Yeah.
So one day, when you are looking for a job, or you want to become a school counselor or a prefect, you want to take a leadership position at university, you want to apply for a bursary one day, two things are going to happen. Number one, they're going to do a social media search. And they're going to go right back to the beginning of time when you first opened your first social media account, which these days is like when you're about 9 or 10 for many children, when they really don't know what they're doing. And I tell them about Annette Schoenby, who was the Miss South Africa finalist, who had to withdraw from the competition at the age of 24. She was like a dead cert for winning. She was so popular because they found something that she'd written on social media when she was about 14 or 15 that in today's terms is racist. So, to give a child a concrete example of why they shouldn't do it is very important, because children think in the concrete before they think in the abstract. You've got to give them a picture of somebody this has happened to, whose life kind of pretty much ended at that point because of something she said when she was an innocent child.
Yeah.
So a compelling reason to say less and do less on social media, because then you can get into trouble less. And then the other thing is that, the internet is going to remember all of these things for a very, very long time. And it could mean the difference of getting that bursary or not. So the second thing is that an employer is, and somebody who's going to give you a bursary is also going to do a police background check.
Yeah.
They are going to want police clearance. So two things, a social media check and a police clearance check. Those things are going to be done as a matter of course. And I have to say, sadly, we have to use a bit of fear every now and again with children to make them sit up and think. And I say to them these things like, you need to decide today at the age of 9, 10, 11, 12, that if someone ever asks you for a naked selfie, the answer is no.
No.
And I have to say to parents in parent talks, if you are, whether you are married or single, whether it's your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your wife, or whether it's a stranger or someone you've just getting into a relationship with, if any of them ever ask for a naked selfie, the answer is no, because revenge porn is making social media lawyers a fortune right now. And now just to translate that into children, I had a little boy of 11 come and say to me, but surely if you're married to the person or they're your boyfriend or girlfriend, it's okay to share a nude? And I said, no, my darling, it's not. Because what if you break up one day? Because your best friend forever today, especially in childhood and the teenage years, can change in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
So you don't give them the password to your phone, your best friend forever in primary school. You don't give them the PIN code, and you don't share anything that could be compromising, because when they're feeling nasty because your friendship is broken up or your boyfriend-girlfriend relationship is broken up, they can now use that against you and share it and put you on slut lists, where boys do this, voting for girls that they think look sexy.
And I think the same thing with relationships, like, which are permanent, even husbands and wives, because once you put it up there, divorce is very possible. It can happen. People change, and you need to always protect yourself. I want to just now look at parents' misconceptions about kids' tech and what is reality. After the short break, we continue our conversation with Nikki Bush and how to protect our children. Let's choose the middle ground. They are there for benefits. As you can see, Nikki Bush is online and I'm using it as a benefit. And you at home could be watching on the YouTube channel, could be streaming on our Hilaal TV website as well. So there are advantages, and then you could be educated about how to protect yourself and your children in this very instance. But more just after the short break. Do stay with us. Welcome back. I'm Hawa Solomon. Online is Nikki Bush, human and parenting expert. She is a well-known leader and teams for at least an expert within her field. She's also well-known helping leaders, teams and individuals and families to win at work and life. So we're navigating primary school children's screen addictions to social media, gaming and their phones. And Nikki Bush is helping us navigate these conversations. Also note that you can watch us. Tell your family, friends across the lands and over the beautiful seas that they can watch us on our live stream, which is www.hilaal.tv. They can catch us right now or on our YouTube channel later on. So, Nikki, I want to look at some of the common misconceptions parents have about their kids' technology, their phone use, being online. Because as we know, they're using it at school. They're having to come home. Doing their homework. Everything is online. What is the reality? Because I have a case where I have to watch my kids sometimes 24/7 just doing their homework online, because they'll be online for Muslim school and then my son's got this little app open playing a game. So I literally have to pass him from time to time just to watch him, that he's not getting bored. So he's also got, this tendency of getting bored. So I have to put something in his hand, put something by his feet, so he can also be stimulated while he's doing an online Muslim school class. So what do parents need to know about their kids' tech use?
So our children have been born into the age of distraction.
Yeah.
These devices, these social media apps are there to distract them from everything else they should be doing, because as I said at the beginning of the show, the longer we can keep a child online, the sooner they are going to ask their parents if they can buy something. Mm-hmm. So if you understand marketing, and I've been tracking marketing to children since 2005, that's a long time. Yeah. Children are in the crosshairs of marketers today. Every single major brand has a youth marketing strategy. Mm-hmm. And the idea behind this is, how can we get more money out of the family wallet, the family purse? Mm-hmm. And the quickest way to get more money these days is to target the children, because children are online for longer every day. And so they see more adverts, they see more promotions, and they've got all this at their fingertips. And, when children are gaming, the longer they are gaming for, the more likelihood they're going to want to buy something, an in-app purchase like a skin to dress their character in. And those things are not cheap. Now, if your children have access to your credit card, they can actually rack up an enormous bill. So firstly, you need to work out how to shut down the in-app purchase facility, and your children must come and ask you first without just doing the double click to purchase. Because it is that easy today. You and I know just how easy it is to make an online purchase, because Google's got your credit card details and Apple's got your credit card details. It's super, super easy. And then to also understand that your children may be under attack online and you may not know it. So all of those stories that I shared at the beginning of the show about these girls having to shut down Instagram accounts, make new accounts because they're being stalked, the girl who's creating alter egos to play to the audience, these kids are actually under attack. And if your child goes to bed with a cell phone, this is 101. Cell phones get handed in to mum and dad at night for mental health reasons, let alone cyberbullying, cyber safety, having to buy something online. These kids are not getting enough sleep and they're arriving at school tired. And bed needs to be for bed. It needs to be for sleep. And sadly, we are seeing children from the youngest of ages being put to sleep with mum or dad's cell phone or tablet or iPad, because the only way they can get to sleep is to have the emotional crutch of watching something online. So we need to take responsibility that we actually are creating the problem. We're part of the problem, because if a device can put our child to sleep, it's much more expedient than us lying there reading a story to our child, tickling their face, tickling their back, and singing to them. So we're letting machines do things for us that we should do, because That part of parenting is part of bonding with your child, part of creating safety for your child. Your child needs to be close enough to you physically every single day for a minimum of 10 minutes in order to smell you, to see you, to touch you, to know that you're really there, because we spend so little time with our children.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to guilt our parents into spending more time with their children, but I am saying it's part of human nature. It's part of your child's safety mechanism to have you close by, physically in their space.
Yeah.
If you're not in their space for long enough, if a primary caregiver is not in their space for long enough, then there's this emotional void, there's this emptiness, and what your children will try and do is fill it with social media, with gaming, with technology, because there's so much choice out there. But the fascinating thing about being online is it actually doesn't fill the hole. And it's so addictive that you think the more you do, the better you're going to feel. But actually, it makes you feel more wanting. It's left you feeling more wanting. And the more wanting you are, the more available you are to buy something, to make yourself feel better. And it doesn't help. And so I actually play games with children in my digital safety sessions.
Yeah.
I play real games with them with real beach balls that cost all of 25 rand versus a 7,999 rand gaming device. And in these sessions, I get children playing with beach balls in groups of 10, hitting the beach balls to each other, having the most amazing amount of fun. You should hear the noise in the room. I say to the teachers, there's going to be noise, there's going to be chaos. Leave it. We need it. Because children discover what fun it is to play face to face with each other. And then when the ball drops to the floor, I tell them that this is actually you online. And every time the ball hits the floor, it means you've done something risky. And then we talk about what they've done that's risky and how they could do things differently. And that they're actually all out there together and they need to protect each other. Very important that they need to protect each other. So, for example, if a child does something that puts themselves at risk, are you going to be the friend who alerts your friend to the fact that their naked selfie is being shared on slut lists? Or are you going to not be that person? Are you going to share the naked selfie? That's the difference between being an upstander and being a bystander. And those are conversations we need to have with our children. And in the same vein, if you as an adult participate in naming, shaming, and blaming people on a WhatsApp group, instead of warning that person or saying on the group, guys, it's not okay for us to be nasty to this person. It's not okay for us to be sharing this picture of this person because it's embarrassing and it's going to ruin their reputation. If we don't stand up, and we're part of a WhatsApp group, if that ever went into legal channels and went to court, we would be one of the perpetrators. And our children need to know that if something's going down on a WhatsApp group, they need to be an upstander and say this has to stop, or they must remove themselves from the group, or they will be seen as part of the criminal element should this ever go to court.
I want to sort of understand the whole gaming arena, and I know you've got some wonderful practical strategies and allowing parents to set boundaries, which you've mentioned some of them. But why are these children, and you've mentioned why they want to be on the social media pages, the attraction to it, but specifically the video gaming, when it can be so detrimental to them. And like you said earlier, it teaches them to kill, desensitize them. Why are these children so attracted to video games, like the Xbox, the PlayStation, the Nintendo Switch? What are they telling you that they want to keep playing these games?
Sadly, what I hear most often is that real life is not fun. Real life is painful. Real life is lonely.
Sure.
And if you think about it, Goa, we do live in a world where we have two-income families, where mom and dad work. The question is, who is home with the children? So when they do come home from school, is anyone home? when you have dinner, do we sit down and have dinner together as a family? Because it may be the only time in the day when we're all together.
Yeah.
Or are we sitting in front of TV, watching TV, while we eat? What's happening? How are we creating togetherness and belonging in our home? Because children are escaping down the rabbit hole of social media to find company, to have fun, to be distracted from what's uncomfortable in their lives. So they talk to me about the emotional side of life. And so they game because it numbs them. It's a numbing process, and it's a distraction from what's hurting and what they can't speak up about. And I find that really, really sad. And yes, the games can be teaching them amazing things. There's lots of problem solving, for example, in Minecraft.
Yeah.
There's lots of learning how to level up and improve your skill levels in all games, because they're all about reaching levels. There's lots of fast changing rewards every time they level up. And so the gaming companies know how to ring the changes with the rewards and how to change the game. And when children start doing multiplayer online gaming, the game changes all the time, because it's not just them and the gaming app.
Yeah.
It's them, the gaming app, and 4 or 5 or 6 other people that are changing the game constantly. Now, this holds their attention. Nothing in real life changes as quickly as how things change online in a game. So this is how the gaming companies keep our children actively engaged, which is why your child, who is busy with their religious studies, is gaming on another screen at the same time, because the person who's teaching religious studies is not nearly as engaging as what's happening on the gaming screen. So it is the age of distraction. So we need to understand that. It's the age of distraction, distracting kids away from family, away from real friends in the real world, distracting kids from their homework, distracting kids from their religious studies, distracting kids from playing outside, climbing jungle gyms, hitting and kicking a ball, things that are good for their bodies, getting vitamin D. There's so much distracting them from all that other stuff. So you asked for practical handles.
Before you quickly, before you get to that, we need to pay the bills, Nikki, and some of your safety mantras that you also use, and practical tips of how to deal with your children being addicted. And if they're not, stop it where it can possibly get to that point. After the short break, we continue our conversation with human potential and parenting expert Nikki Bush. Back in a moment.